Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. In this video, we're going to be looking at a Soraka team composition that plays through the admin trait, one of the probably the most creative and unique trait that's been added in this set because it is a customizable trait where the player largely gets to pick what the trait actually does, and it will change from game to game. So kind of a variation on the mutant trait, the mirage trait from previous sets, but even more kind of open-ended in terms of where admin can go. All right, well, a couple notes about this game. This is taken from a double-up match that I am playing together with Headwinder. I think that I was in silver double-up matchmaking at this point in time, and Headwinder I think had only played like 2 or 3 double-up matches at all, didn't even have a rating at this point in time. I also should note that this footage is somewhat outdated. This is before the B patch that came out. And by the time this gets posted, that B patch on the release version is going to have been out for quite a few days, probably 4 or 5 days. So this is older footage in that respect. This is before nerfs to Zed and Renekton and Ashe, back before that took place. So that's partly why I'm grabbing the Renektons here, because Renekton was pretty overtuned in the release version and then was nerfed in the B patch. And things have been shaken up a bit since then. But just keep that in mind that this is slightly older footage, but this was such a cool game that I just had to showcase this. So admin boards, there is some flexibility, but typically when people play admin, they're either going to be playing through Camille. You can look to play 3-star Camille, who's in a bit of an early game unit. Camille has the Renegade trait, so can be a very strong physical damage dealer if you go heavily into the Renegade trait and then customize the admin trait to kind of synergize with her attack damage abilities. Or the alternate route is typically then you would go into Soraka, and that is what we're going to do here. At this point in time in the game, I had no idea what I was going to play. I was pretty happy with what I had gotten thus far, though, because I had managed to get 2 belts. I was able to get belt off the starting carousel, which if people have been watching these videos know that that's my preferred start. And then it was also, and then I got a bow. The bow was kind of like, I don't know what to do with the bow, but not gonna hurt. All right, initial augment. I end up taking Exiles, the one that gives you additional, gives all your units a shield based on how much health they have if they are not standing next to other units at the start of the game. I don't really have much of anything about. The only thing that's really useful here is I do have a Zoe in my store, so I could potentially look to play into the Zoe here. I know I was asking Headwinder if he wanted this early Zoe. I believe that I end up passing on it because it does cost 3 gold to purchase. I can't remember if I end up getting this unit or not. Or maybe I picked it up and then decided not to play it. But when you get an early Zoe, you usually should look to play this unit because it's pretty strong, or at least certainly here in the release version of set 8, it was a very strong unit. I did not end up putting it on my board to start, in part because I got a bow, and that fit better with a duelist setup. But I was thinking about what I would do with that. So one nice thing about Exiles is the shield does scale. It is a percentage-based shield. It scales off of the unit, so if you have a unit like Renekton with the Warmogs, the shield from Exiles is larger to match that. So that was one handy little thing that helps. And the Warmog's opener is just very strong here in the release version. Warmog's, the item, did get a bit of a nerf in the B patch, which was probably deserved because starting with the Warmogs and putting it on like a 2-star unit at the start of the game would just mean that you pretty much win streaked all through stage 2. In this version of TFT, there was so much health. If you had a 2-star frontliner, there wasn't much you could do. Anyway, I am still continuing to grab these duelist units. I was thinking at this point in time that my game plan would be I'm going to go into a laser core duelist team composition. I'm going to grab items for a future Zed, and I'm hoping I can find a Yasuo so I can start to stack some units on them. I also do have the possibility to play into Underground, so that's why I grabbed the Ezreal, but ultimately I don't think that that's where I went. Meanwhile, over on Headwinder's board, he has gotten a Recon emblem, which is an unusual thing. Unfortunately for Headwinder, this is before the patch came out that gave this huge buff to the Recon trait. They buffed Recon 3 to like a humongous extent, increased the amount of crit chance. This is before that took place. Recon trait not very strong in this particular build of TFT. So yeah, it was before the trait ended up getting a bit stronger. Anyway, this fight is close, but oh, Neela gets her heal off, and look at this. I actually end up not killing anything, which I was like, what? I didn't kill any units. I got a bunch of them low, but I didn't actually kill anything. A bit frustrating to say the least. I am continuing to not really hit stuff that I'm looking for. By the way, you see me sell the Zoe. I wish in retrospect I'd held the Zoe, but I didn't know that I was going into a Soraka-based team. Also, you see I am not picking up Sona. These are all the kind of champions I would be picking up if I knew I was going to be playing admin. But at this point in time, my game plan was to go into some kind of duelist-based team composition. Over there, Headwinder has managed to get an early vein, so he's going to be playing into kind of recon as his main featured trait, which, as I said, unfortunately was not especially strong in this particular patch. But hey, it's good opportunity to try to test things out and see what kind of benefit these traits have, because it's still very early in the set. Anyway, I'm hoping that I can win this round so that I can try to get to 10 gold, which is the income breakpoint. Oh, I was also picking up the Ezreals because I thought that if I could get 2-star Ezreal, that would be a good send over to Headwinder since he is playing a recon-based team composition. And we have, if he's going to invest in recon, we have decent odds to try to like 3-star Ezreal since I already have 2 of them. Anyway, here we go for the first carousel. Headwinder is going to have first pick priority. And let's see what he takes. It's been a couple days since we played this game. I don't remember what he wanted. I do remember what I wanted, though. I end up taking a Rod here because I was looking to make Rageblade. I mean, I'm going into a duelist team competition. I want to make Rageblade, right? That seems like a good use for this. But I end up not going into a duelist team competition, and the Rageblade was not an item I would have made if I knew where this team was going to end up. So another example of needing to kind of adjust on the fly based on what I'm getting. Honestly, right now, I am not happy with my team at all. I have 3 pairs of units right now. I have a pair of Kales, a pair of Renekton's, a pair of Gangplanks, and I just don't really have much direction in my team. I was like, I guess I'll play another Renekton, or I could put an Ezreal for more damage, but I don't think that's right. Ezreal doesn't pick up any traits. Like, if he was actually a 2-star unit, that would be worthwhile here, but like nothing that I can purchase is going to help Rel and Poppy. I'm running Bruiser frontline, or Brawler frontline in this set. So like defenders are not going to be helpful. Talon, Nasus, Silas, they're not going to do anything. Like a second Gangplank is not going to do a whole lot. So I was like, I guess I just play another Renekton. I do get a larger Exile shield from having an additional Brawler in there. So I mean, it looks like I'm going to win this round, but like you can see this board's going to fall off really hard if I can't actually find some units. I have not really found much of anything so far, just a bunch of 1-star units, basically winning rounds because I have a Warmogs on Renekton. And that item was pretty strong here in this version of TFT. But like, I'm not super happy with my team. I haven't really found anything. I'm hoping for more direction. All right, this is better. 2-star Kale. I also find 2-star Ezreal. So obviously I'm going to play 2-star Ez. The question was, do I send him over to Headwinder? Does he want the Ezreal? I believe that I do send this at some point. I can't remember if it's right this minute or not, though. But like, that has to be better than something that he's running over there on his board. Yeah, in this patch, the Recon 3 was 45% crit chance. They increased that to 75% crit chance in the B patch, which is a clear overbuff to the trait. As I'm recording this, people are still trying to figure out the best way to make use of that, but I suspect that that's going to be a bit problematic from a design standpoint. I have no idea why they increased the number that much. It's one of the things that really annoys me about the TFT developers. They do stuff like this all the time. It's like, Recon, definitely a little bit too weak in the release version of the set. Let's increase the number from 45% to 75%. It's like, wait, what? Why don't you go to like 55%? Why would you just overbuff to such a crazy degree? Like, take smaller incremental steps. You literally patch this game like every single week. Not even every other week. It's like literally every week. So yeah, don't quite understand that decision. Why they would do they do stuff like that all the time. It's super annoying. All right, well, this is the shot that's going to change the direction of the gameplay that I have. I have found a Soraka at 2% odds in the store, and I have also found a Camille as well, which could get the admin trait in very early. Oh, I guess I already have Blitzcrank, so that would get me the admin trait. So I was like, I don't really have direction in my team. Why don't I just grab the Soraka? I can just take out the Ezreal and play the Soraka. Even with no item, she's going to be a useful unit to have on board just because she is a 4-cost unit. And then I can also see what the admin trait is. You can figure out what the admin trait is just by putting in one of the admin units. Or if you put in 2 admin units, you can see. And I also, by the way, I also get a tier here as well. So it's like, oh, tier, that's an item component that Soraka wants. I'm like, now I've got this Rage Blade, which is not what Soraka wants, but there's an Annie in the store as well. Annie is a great frontliner. I was like, you know what? Let's start pivoting into this. All right, by the way, look at this. Every 5 seconds, admin units gain 15 health. So I went by that kind of quickly. Again, apologize, this is pre-recorded footage, so I can't adjust stuff like that. But I am pivoting. I'm pivoting hard now and looking to pivot into Soraka. So first of all, let's cover Soraka, and then we can talk more about the admin trait after that. Soraka is a 4-cost unit. She is a carry unit, so kind of like mixed support and carry unit. Her ability is Star Call, costs 40 mana. And the official description is, Soraka launches a star at her target, deals magic damage, and heals Soraka for 10% of her maximum health. Excuse me. Every 3 casts, she launches stars at each of the nearest enemies. So we are not going to win that round. I was up against a Laser Core player. Laser Core, very strong in this particular patch. But yeah, that's the idea behind Soraka. 40 mana cost. When mana bar fills up, she deals magic damage and heals herself for 10% of her maximum HP. And then look at this. I get a Soraka augment here. Upgrade Berserk. Every 15 seconds, Soraka... I actually went by that text too quickly. Let me see if I can pull up the official text of Soraka's augment. I believe this is the support version of her augment that I got here. I am pulling this up on the cheat sheet. Yes, this is the support version. After 15 seconds of combat, all of her ability casts are empowered. Okay, so... Or actually, no, this is the carry version of the Soraka augment. Yeah, this is the carry version. It's glowing purple, so it's the carry version. So as I said, the way her ability works is when she fills up the mana bar, after every 40 mana, she casts and deals magic damage to the nearest enemy and heals herself for 10% of her max HP. Every 3 casts, she shoots out 3 stars at once. She gets an empowered cast after every 3. So the 3rd cast hits 3 enemies instead of hitting 1 enemy. The augment that I picked up makes it so that after 15 seconds, all of her casts are empowered. So it's kind of like the Aurelian Soul from the previous set, where Aurelian Soul would ascend after X amount of time, and then his ability would start hitting the whole board. So yeah, after 15 seconds, now all of Soraka's casts will hit 3 enemies at once. So that is obviously pretty nice. It means that her damage is going to go up by quite a bit. And now I'm looking to play into this unit pretty heavily. I actually have 2 out of 3 Sorakas already, which is pretty nutty for this early in the game. I have no idea why I was given a Soraka this early on. Kind of weird that I was given that. Anyway, I'm going to send the 2-star Ezreal over to Headwinder, so he's going to have that. And then I will put in the LeBlanc. Now, LeBlanc is also an admin, so LeBlanc will also be stacking up that HP from the admin trait. Remember, I had my choice of a couple different things, and the choice I picked was every 5 seconds, admins permanently gain 15 maximum health, only active when admin trait is in play. So because I hit the Soraka so early, I'm going to start stacking up this benefit very early. And, you know, that I have the possibility of getting this quite high over the course of the game. Now I want to find a Camille, who is the other admin unit, and see what 4 admin would give me and decide if I want to play into 4 admin over the course of this game. We are up against someone who's playing Jax. Fortunately, it is only a 1-star Jax. So together with Headwinder's help, we should be able to overcome that. I will say Soraka's damage does not... Soraka is not particularly good into Jax. She's more of an area of effect caster, not so great at single target damage. All right, well, there are a couple of good options here, but the big one is that there are tiers available on this carousel. And I already have 1 tier for Soraka. Now I need to find another tier so I can get her the blue buff. That is her most important item, is blue buff. Blue buff in this set lowers the cost of a cast, lowers your mana cost by 10. So Soraka goes from needing 40 mana to cast down to 30 mana to cast. And that's a big, big difference because it means she casts much faster. And of course, it also means she gets the first cast off instantly because blue buff means you start with 50 mana. So she gets the first cast off immediately. And then that causes her to get closer to that 3rd cast, which is the empowered cast. Now, right here, I'm going to get an item drop from Headwinder, and look what I get. I get a spatula, and I'm actually able to make an admin spatula. So I get the choice of 3 more things. 20% chance to drop gold, gain 15 maximum health, gain 20% attack speed. The gold one is tempting. To get the additional gold is quite nice, but I choose to double up on the health stacking. So this is how the admin trait works, is when you put it in play with admin 2, you get 3 different choices. They can be a whole bunch of different things. They vary from game to game. And so you pick one, and then if you go up to admin 4, you get another choice as well. It's contingent on what you take for the first one. So for the first one I took was in every 5 seconds you get blank. There are different conditions. Some of them are at the start of the fight. Some of them are every 5 seconds, like this one. Some of them are when your allies die, you gain blank. Some of them are when you kill an enemy, you get blank. So it can be different conditions. It just varies depending on the trait. Varies from game to game and depending on what you happen to roll for the admin trait itself. So I've doubled up on the same thing. I've gotten 2 instances of permanent health stacking. And this is really my favorite one to take from the admin trait. I love the ones that are permanent and give you permanent benefits the longer you run the trait. So this is a bit of a high roll, not even a bit of a high roll. This is definitely a high roll setup here. I've gotten both a very early Soraka, and I've been able to get 4 admin in super early. That's because I was able to get a spatula from the gift. The round 3-5 and round 3-6, you are able to send a gift to your partner in double up mode. And one of the options that Headwinder had was to send a spatula to me. By total coincidence, I had a cloak that was unused on my team, and cloak plus spatula is admin in this set. So it is one of the craftable emblems in this set. You can make it with the spatula. I had the cloak by dumb luck. I had and then I was gifted the opportunity to make a spatula. So I've gone ahead and turned Annie into an admin as well. Normally Annie would not be an admin unit, obviously. She already has 3 traits. Now she has 4 traits. But Annie is frequently one of the big defenders in a team composition that is going to play into Soraka. It's typically either Bruisers or the Soraka plus Echo plus Alistair setup. One of those 2 combinations, something like that. Now, you might have noticed I'm still losing some of these rounds. I'm actually on a 2-match losing streak, but that's largely because my board is entirely made up of 1-star units. I don't believe I have any 2-star units on my board at all. If we can hit 1 more Soraka, then I'm going to get immensely stronger. Yeah, 2 out of 3 Annies, 2 out of 3 Lees, 2 out of 3 Zoes, 2 out of 3 Sorakas. Yeah, my whole board is 1-stars. If I can manage to hit 1 more, then if I can just 2-star some of these units, I'm actually going to be quite strong. And there is actually a Camille in the store, but I don't need Camille anymore. I already have 4 admin, so there's really no purpose in grabbing Camille here. I would need to get more pluses to the admin trait if I was going to look to run this. So I am looking to find the last Soraka, find another Annie, and then, oh, what's this? I find another spatula. What? Okay, well, now I actually do have the potential to maybe get in admin 6. Normally, you cannot make 6 admin because 6 admin, there's only 4 admin units. The only 4 admin units are Blitzcrank at 1 cost, Camille at 2 cost, LeBlanc at 3 cost, and Soraka at 4 cost. There's no 5 cost admin units. But, I mean, I've got the spatula, so it's possible that I could hit that. I am rolling here because I have so many pairs. And then I find an Echo, and I was like, do I want Echo in this team? I feel like I probably do, but I don't know how I get him in here. Not exactly sure how I make that unit. So for the moment, there is the potential to possibly play into 6 admin. And the benefit of running 6 admin is the benefit of the second trait that you pick is increased by a large amount. Let me read the official description for admin. Admin 2, initialize, admin cause and effect. Admin 4, add another effect to the program. Admin 6, boost previous tier by 180%. So that would increase the value of the second one that I picked by 180%. And look at this, my last augment silver, and I get admin heart as a choice. I was like, oh, okay. Well, now we can play 6 admin. And then I foolishly sell the Camille. I was like, wait, no, I didn't want to do that. Accidentally sold the Camille. I did not want to do that. I wanted to play the Camille. So that's unfortunate there. Here I'm deciding, do I want to play Lee or Echo? I'm trying to figure out how I make this work, but that was a mistake. I definitely should have played the Camille because that would have given me 6 admin, and then I could have been health stacking to an even more ridiculous degree. So what is it? It's 15 health every 5 seconds. Unfortunately, the units do not get this if they die. So like Blitzcrank is not actually stacking up that much health because Blitzcrank has been dying. Also, I realize now, watching this video footage, that I am not getting the benefit of exiles on Annie because I have Echo standing next to her, so that's a bit of a whoopsie there. Definitely should have worked around that. Annie in particular with the Warmogs and getting the admin health stacking really, really wants the exile shield because It is percentage based, and the more health you have, the larger the shield is going to be. But nevertheless, I am stacking up an awful lot of health. Annie is surviving for a long time in this fight, so she's getting the plus 15 health, actually plus 30 health, because I'm doubled up on the trait. Every 5 seconds, she's getting 30 health, and that's applying to the Soraka as well. If you're wondering about these other units I'm picking up, I'm also trying to pick up some units for Headwinder's board. He's running 4 Recon, and he's put the Recon emblem on Samira, which is kind of an interesting choice. I don't think that's terrible necessarily, but I do think that there are better options that you could look to pick. Now, one other question I have is, does the Hacker Rim, the little mech Hacker Rim, does that actually count for preventing the Exile's additional health shield? I'm not sure if it does or not. Let's see if LeBlanc is getting the Exile shield here. I honestly don't know. She should be getting it, but okay, she did get it. So apparently the Hacker Rim does not count. Now, if I could just stop having units stand next to Annie so she would get the shield. So yeah, this has been going better. I did roll quite a bit on level 7, so my economy is not amazing in this game. That's because I had so many paired units on level 7. I was really looking to 2-star some of those units. I didn't actually hit that many of them, but I did hit some. And since I was able to 2-star some of them, I have been doing better. Again, Soraka, not a great choice into the Jax. I'm definitely going to lose this round, but here comes Headwinder's board, and that's actually going to be enough to knock that player out of the game. Still, it's very close between the other 3 players, which is kind of interesting. And then look at this. Oh, remember how I have that spatula on my bench? There's actually another spatula here on the carousel. Okay. And it's on a Nunu. Well, I'm happy to grab that. Let's just go ahead and pick that up, and we can just get a Tactician's Crown. So I'm going to get +1 unit, and I'll just play the Nunu because he gives me Gadgeteen trait. He gives me, yeah, and then I can even get Mascot trait if I put the Alistar in as well. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and play that unit then. So there we go, +1 team size, boom. And now we're able to get another unit in. But I believe I actually forgot that I had the Exile's trait in this game because I really did not make very good use of it. And it would have been great to play this just because, well, at least Annie is now no longer getting that. Also, I get 1 more Soraka from Headwinder. So now I have Soraka 2-star, and now I'm definitely cleared to go up to level 8. I can stop rolling here on level 7. Yeah, I think I kind of forgot that I had the Exile's trait. Fortunately, now Annie is by herself, so she is going to get the shield. And that is pretty significant. Look at how long it takes. I mean, it takes them like 5 seconds in the fight to get to the shield, so that is pretty nice. And of course, Annie will be applying her own shield. Still, now that I have 2-star Soraka, she's going to be dealing significantly more damage. What I'm really looking for now is more items on Soraka. As great as it's been to get all this spatula stuff, and don't get me wrong, the spatula stuff has been awesome, it has left me a little bit under-itemized on Soraka herself. Fortunately, I will get Gadgeteen items, and sometimes there'll be ones that are decent on Soraka. So like I put a Bloodthirster on her, not really a key item on her, but I might as well pick it up. And now I've got I found a Camille in the store, so now the plan is go to level 8, put in Camille, and now we'll have 8 admin. So I go ahead and sell the Alistar because I'm not going to be looking to play that unit. I also get a Gadgeteen Spear of Shojin. I will put that on Zoe because Zoe, I already have the blue buff on Soraka. She doesn't need both the blue and the Shojin. A little bit of overkill, whereas having Shojin on Zoe will be pretty nice. There is also some synergy between Spear of Shojin and Rage Blade because the faster you attack, the more mana you generate with the Spear of Shojin. All right, so this is one of the stronger boards. This person is running looks like a Vayne-based team composition. And the question is, can our front line hold up long enough for Soraka to kill everything? Also, remember, once we get under 15 seconds, Soraka will be using empowered casts on everything. So she'll be hitting 3 units at a time. And yeah, that means she'll be doing that AoE damage. So everything else on my board has died, but Soraka is still alive. Soraka has an awful lot of health at this point because she's been stacking that with admin benefit for quite some time. Remember, Soraka's ability heals her for 10% of her max HP every time she casts. Now, Soraka typically does not have a lot of health. And there is actually a build that runs Brawler Soraka. That is, if you can get a Brawler emblem, you can stick it on Soraka, and then Soraka gets like a ridiculous amount of health, and it just takes advantage of the fact that she heals for 10% of her max HP on each cast, and really exploits the Brawler emblem to run like 6 Brawlers or 8 Brawlers. It's like a Jax plus Soraka dual carry that I've seen some people running a little bit. But this is a different way of getting health, is this double stacking the health benefit on the admin trait. So she's getting 30 HP every 5 seconds, And if we can get Camille in, the second half of that is going to increase as well. All right, so we've got an anvil here. Let's see what we can grab. There isn't that much that I really want here. I have a sword I have a sword and a glove on my bench. I was looking at this and I was like, all right, well, let's take the belt for more health on a frontliner. By the way, I still only have Blitz 1-star. I have not been finding the blitzes. And I have Camille next to the Soraka. No, why did you have to forget about Exile's trait? I'm going to go ahead and make the Infinity Edge here, though, because Infinity Edge is going to allow Soraka's spell to crit. This is a change in set 8. The Infinity Edge and Jeweled Gauntlet were reworked such that they both allow abilities to crit. Physical damage does not crit anymore, absent Jeweled Gauntlet or Infinity Edge. So, like, Jeweled Gauntlet would be better here, but the Infinity Edge also allows Soraka's spells to crit. So that's going to cause her damage to go up by quite a bit now that she can crit on these. Interestingly enough, I'm also not playing very heavily into Soraka's other trait. She is admin plus heart. Typically, a lot of Soraka builds will go heavily into the heart trait because she casts very frequently, so she will stack up additional ability power via the heart trait. But that's not the route we're going this game. We're basically going tank Soraka this game. She is just stacking health, and then by having the 10% self-heal, she becomes almost impossible to kill because she's healing herself for 10% of her health every round, and I think she's over 2,000 max HP right now. Well, this is the next gift from Headwinder. I'm trying to remember what I ended up getting here. Let's see. There is that orb in the middle, and he is going to... he sent me a champion duplicator. That's right. We were talking over what I wanted. I'm going to send him a Samira. That's going to make Samira 2-star for him. And I decided that I wanted the champion duplicator because I thought it would give me an outside chance of 3-starring one of these units. Also could be used on Nunu if I find like one other Nunu. It's also one of the cheaper options as far as what you send your partner. I believe it only costs 6 gold. Yeah, sadly, I have just completely forgotten about Exiles from the early game. So the good news is I'm still getting the Exiles benefit on Annie. The bad news is Soraka is not getting the full benefit of that Exiles. So, I mean, Soraka doesn't get focused early in the fights anyway, so mostly I'm just getting the benefit on, like, Annie and Lee Sin, but I'm not even getting it on Echo because I have him standing next to Blitzcrank like kind of an idiot there. Still, the big story of this game is just Soraka stacking up this health. Every 5 seconds, she's getting more health, and that happens in every single one of these fights. So, what is it? She gets 15 health every 5 seconds from the first half of admin, and then 15 times... Oh, by the way, here we have the chance to send a Tactician's Crown. Now, it does cost 30 gold, but that's still worthwhile. I can sell some stuff on my bench. And I was like, I need to raise 3 more gold to get this. So what can we do here? I'm going to sell the Camille. And then I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to hit Annie 3-star. So go ahead and sell one of the Annies there. So that cleans out all my gold. It does mean that it's unlikely I'm going to hit Annie 3-star. But... I mean, it gives Headwinder +1 team size, so I think that that's worthwhile. Expensive to do, but allow him to run 4 Defender. All right, anyway, getting back to the math from earlier. So Soraka gets 15 health every 5 seconds on the first part of the trait, and then it's 15 times 180% for the second half of the trait. So what is that? 15, it's almost tripled, because 200% would be 45. So it's about 40 health from the second half of the trait. By the way, nice Shroud of Stillness placement. Gadgetine items are not as strong later in the game, but you can still get value out of them. So she's basically getting like 15 plus 40 health, so like 55 every 5 seconds roughly. And so over the course of these fights, she typically is getting that benefit, what, about 4 or 5 times? Also, with this being double up mode, there is the option to, the fights often last longer because either someone reinforces on my board or I go and reinforce on Headwinder's board. So she's probably getting that about 4 or 5 times per fight. You know, so 55 health times 5, that's 270-ish health every single fight she's stacking up. So she's basically getting like more than a Giant's belt worth of health in every single fight, which is pretty nutty. So she is increasing in health very quickly. And remember, she heals for 10% of her max HP every single time she casts. So the more that health goes up, the more unkillable she becomes. So I decided I'm going to lean into that. I'm looking for a last Soraka item here. Most of this stuff is frontline items. Now, I could take the Spear of Shojin and like put it on Zoe, but I was like, you know what? Let's lean into this. We're going to take the Titan's Resolve for Soraka. This means that if she ever does get targeted in the fights, she's going to be very, very hard to kill. There is also some crit chance on Titan's Resolve, right? So armor, magic resistance, and it stacks up over the course of the fight. It's going to give her extra armor, MR. Also does give her ability power if you get it all the way stacked up. well, for each stack, you do get slightly more AP. So this is basically an item that makes her tankier. So if she does get focused in a fight, then she will be harder to kill. Actually, does not have crit chance. I was wrong about that. But yeah, she gets 2 AP every time she attacks or takes damage. And then at full stacks, gets extra armor and MR. So if she ever does get focused in these fights, then she's going to end up being very difficult to kill. Most of the time, she's not taking damage because most of the time I'm killing these enemy teams before they get onto the Soraka. But this is like kind of a backup plan to make it so she's even harder to kill. Also goes back to one of the things I've tried to emphasize in the videos I've been doing here. In this set, they did decrease the power of items a little bit. They put more of the value into the unit's base stats. But that said, items are still powerful. And it is still worthwhile to just get something for your units. Like, this is definitely not the best in slot setup for Soraka. I have the blue buff. You always would want blue buff for Soraka. But, like, other than that, Druid Gauntlet is good so that her spells can crit. And then pretty much anything else that's, like, AP related is good. I've heard Gunblade is pretty good because then she heals your front line for some of the damage that she deals. You know, like Death Cap, it would be fine. Archangel Staff, etc. All that stuff would be perfectly fine. She does not really need healing, though, because she gets healing from her ability. So she doesn't really need like a Bloodthirster or Hand of Justice or something like that. If you put a Gunblade on her, it is for healing the front line, not for healing her. All right, well, this fight looks pretty bad. This person's board is bowling over my front line, but remember how I have that Titans on Soraka. If she gets focused in the fight, she's going to get more armor and MR, and then she's just going to keep healing herself. 250, 250, 250, 250. Yeah, she's just healing herself for so much. The enemy team can't kill her. She's unkillable. Tank Soraka. So the Titans resolve, which looked kind of silly at first, and that's why you see I made it there. In a situation like that, she is rarely focused in these fights, but when she is, it's just very, very, very difficult to kill her. All right, now, you might have noticed the 2-star Soraka pops up. That came over from Headwinder, so he was able to put together a 2-star Soraka for me. Now I have 7 Sorakas, and the champion duplicator. We only need 1 more Soraka to get Soraka 3-star. Yeah, double up mode can be like that sometimes, between the partner helping you out make units and also the ability to get champion duplicators. Occasionally, they're not that common, but you can sometimes get them in the gifts. That allows you to 3-star units much more easily than you would otherwise. So we are 1 off Soraka 3-star, which would be absolutely awesome. In terms of Soraka's damage, let me just go ahead and check the difference here. So her base damage is relatively low. The numbers I'm reading right now say base damage is 225 at 1 star, 340 at 2-star, and then 750 at 3-star. So basically her damage more than doubles if you can 3-star her. But for her, it's not so much the base damage. It's the fact that she can continue increasing that with her heart trait. So again, we're finally 2-starring some of the rest of my board. I was actually a little ways off on 2-starring a bunch of these. There's another Nunu, so we can grab that. So we can always use the champion duplicator on Nunu 2-star. So that is a possibility as well. Nunu I've been sending into the back line, which I think is honestly pretty funny. I've been using the hacker to send him in the back lines. But I'm actually getting a lot of health. Annie is up to 5,600 health because she's been stacking it up with admin trait. Blitz is not quite that much, but I think he's around like 4,000 health because remember, he has brawler trait. So any additional max HP gets stacked up 20% higher thanks to him having brawler trait. And then Soraka, LeBlanc and Soraka are getting pretty high as well, but Soraka just never, ever, ever dies in these fights. So she's been getting the admin benefit over and over and over and over again. And I think I'm looking here to check what she's gotten. By the way, I hit Nunu 2-star anyway. So now can we get the 3-star Soraka? It looks like we're down to maybe 1 more round in the game. And I was like, well, I guess we can roll 1 more time if we sell this Zoe. So let's sell that and see if we can find it. And no. Very disappointing. I wanted that so bad. I wanted the 3-star Soraka really badly in this game, but no, not going to be able to find it, unfortunately. By the way, there I moved Blitz right next to Annie, so denying her the Exile Shield. Again, I just totally forgot I had that. But I do get off a great Shroud of Stillness, and Soraka is just going to keep doing her thing. She's at 4,300 health, so she's healing for 400 health every single time she ults, and she ults constantly in these fights. So she's just never going to die in these fights. Never, ever, ever going to die. The Invincible tank Soraka, I think they would need like multiple 3-star 4 costs or something in order to beat this unit. So she winds up with 4,500 health at the end, and that's it. I mean, once I started to get Soraka stacked up, the game was just over. Obviously, Headwinder's board was really strong too. You might have noticed he kept coming over to reinforce me. He was winning his rounds a lot more quickly than I was winning mine. Mine was more of like a gradually beat the other team, not a win quickly against the other team. But what a game this was. 6 admin Soraka, 4,500 health. This was a really, really fun game. I know it's on a previous patch, so it's slightly outdated, but I had to share this one because this one was pretty crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, folks.